Good evening. Um, Still got the migraine, so we're going to try and do some lace making, but it probably won't be a very long stream. Um, the migraine has been excessively present for a few days. Saturday was really horrible. Um, if you've ever seen Star Trek and you remember the Nexus in the Next Generation movie, um, with Whoopi Goldberg and Captain Kirk making a bit of a comeback. Well, um, it's kind of how my vision looked. Was that screen tear, rip, burning line that they had in space that was the Nexus. That's what my vision looked like. It was absolutely horrific. So, and that was even with your eyes shut, let alone with them open. So, Saturday was definitely off. Sunday, I mean, at least, I was at work today. I managed to survive a day of work. So, I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I feel great, because I really, really don't. But, I'm here to give it a go. So, let's remember where we got to. Now, pretty much we were getting ready to make first big motif of the strip. And this light is actually really quite bright. I've forgotten quite how bright it was. Or rather, never noticed how bright it was. So we're going to try and, if nothing else, get some of that done. Of course, you've come undone. It has. I don't have food triggers for my migraines. In fact, I don't really know what triggers my migraines. There is one thing I'm aware of that seems to coincide with my migraines, but I don't believe it is the cause, and that can be, oddly enough, a little bit of constipation. Because I'm pretty sure that's not why I have a migraine, but maybe whatever makes that happen makes the migraine happen. But other than that, nothing seems to trigger it. So I could eat, a pound of chocolate, fine. I could have no chocolate and still get a migraine. I don't drink, so it's not like that. So, I don't know. It just seems to be one of those things. And they do have some I'm on migraine preventers, and to be honest, they do, for the most part, work very well. But occasionally, my body decides that it needs to do a migraine. And so it does. And, well, my longest migraine was 6 weeks. It's kind of hard to explain, because I remember one of my bosses going, "Oh, if I had migraines every day, I couldn't work." Yeah, boss, but if I had 6 weeks off with a migraine, would you believe me? It's not my current boss, I will point out. But, I had a boss say that to me, and it's like, hence I come to work, boss. Because, I can't have a day off every time I get a migraine of any value, because sometimes it's every day. As I say, 6 weeks of it. Just was a bit nuts. To the point that even though I had not done the adult things required, my doctor actually made me take a pregnancy test. In case my body had done something exciting. Because they had no explanation for it. And they were most upset when that didn't come up positive either, because at least that would have been an answer. I've got cold hands, which is not the best of things for ladies. It has to be said.
M. Fleming 11 said, so how was
That
everyone
wasn't
worked
working.
out with the AWS funsies?
Hang on, let's just re-divert that for whatever reason. Yeah. Why aren't you doing your thing? I forgot to check, of course I did. Hang on, for some reason. Why does my computer keep doing this? It kind of pauses but doesn't. So I don't actually do AWS. We're not allowed. But I do have my lovely fun individuals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How do I explain this? The answer is difficulty. So I work in an environment where change control and order is very much the done thing. And despite knowing that a senior manager must approve a change before it can be done, some co-workers decided that they thought the dude who was asking for it was senior enough and did it anyway. And then when I kind of went, who approved that out of interest, wondering who they'd want to approve it, because I knew that the guy that they should have been going to was busy. And it was kind of like, that was a bit of a quick turnaround. Who did they get to approve that? Do they need approval? Yes. Everything needs approval, honey. Oh. So that's how my day went. Is that it turns out that during my time off, co-workers have just been doing changes. And I'm sure someone would defend them. Oh, well, they didn't know. Well, it's written down. Now, not in a proper official manner, of course, because that'd be too easy. But it is written down, and the teams all know. The only people who didn't know it seemed to be my co-worker. So yes, it's been a long day. A long day with a migraine. So I don't think this stream will be horrendously long because it's awfully bright and I don't want to peel off my brain cells any more than I have to. I was watching in the dark on very low a tatting video over the weekend, probably Sunday evening, and one thing that really struck me was that when they were pulling the thread to make the circle tight, they weren't just pulling, holy shit, literally you could hear as it was, the thread was kind of going, I'm tight, and then it would slip and manage to pull a bit more. I mean, I couldn't believe how hard they were pulling. And it really did look, you know, it was almost like wind it around your finger a ton of times and yank, and it's kind of like, it's like, you know, 12 stitches or something. How do you need to yank it that hard? It really was quite alarming, really. I mean, I know like this is, you know, you can tug on this and stuff once it's done, but you wouldn't tug on a single one of the threads, because where it meets the pin, it will go tink. But yeah, it's just kind of absolutely flabbergasted at how hard they pulled. Was surprising. Right. Let's get you out and do it for you. Side. I mean, it does look quite nice when you're done. But they were pulling these little rings. Now, some of mine are a bit dappy. But they were pulling these rings so hard. Literally, I'd have a job to demonstrate it. Hi Bailey, how you doing? That's right, my co-worker's on a rant at the moment. Yeah. How goes, Bailey? How goes? I have to confess that's kind of how my days tend to go. I mean, I worked all day, and I got to the end of work, and about 45 minutes before the end of my work day, you know when you're that tired that you kind of do the slow blink thing, so you kind of thought you were going for a blink, and then you realise your eyes have been shut for a little while, so you open them. I was doing a bit of that, and I kind of like, this is not a good state to be in, I'm supposed to be working. but I managed to keep going till the end of work. So I then had a nap, and at 5 o'clock I lay down, and at 6:40 I woke up. So realistically, I slept, got up, went to work, slept, got up, came to streaming. So no, you can't do that, trust me. But you can do that when you work from home, and all you have to do is well, you know, obviously, you know, I sit facing slightly more that way, with my work laptop, and I go all day, and then, and if I kind of nod off for a little, and then it kind of keeps going. So I was there, and I think if it had made a ping noise at me, it probably would have helped kind of summon me from the slow blinks, shall we call it. I'm not aware that time passed particularly fast, so I don't think I actually fell asleep. I just think that it was in that trying category, closing its eyes and hoping that sleep will happen. So of course then I lay down once work was over, and I did. So sleep does tend to help my migraines, but I think in part because I just miss out on a load of the symptoms. They happen while I sleep, but I do get some crazy ass dreams sometimes. Real rando crazy shit. But it does mean I haven't eaten tea, which is not a good thing. Speaking of which, maybe let's I understand that I let it go cold, or it's yesterday's but now I can eat it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, but like I said at the beginning of the stream, one of the weird things for me is that my migraines don't seem to have a blatant trigger. You know, so I can eat a pound of chocolate, I could eat the strongest curry, and that will not give me a migraine at all. And then I can not eat it and get a migraine. And you're like, well, all I had, you know, I had nothing exciting yesterday, no cheese. God, a day without cheese. But, you know, no cheese, no curry, no chocolate. I just haven't discovered what really brings them on. Except for, I've currently got a doozy. And it's been going on for a couple of days. I mean, it is... I'm going to make this sound really funny now. It's down to a more manageable, normal migraine level. In that my eyes both feel like they've been punctured with a sharp spike. And I'm not particularly getting any auditory or visual issues. But it is kind of still very much here. I have kind of a weird feeling I get sometimes with my migraines, which I currently have. So yes, it is kind of... Hey Flusenby, the short version is co-worker who apparently, despite working in a company where approvals are needed pretty much to go for a pee, my co-workers have not been realising they needed to get permissions for things, and so have just been doing them. I don't know how to tell people because they already think I shit on them enough. And it's kind of like, but they've not been doing what they were told. Yeah. My manager seemed quite annoyed with me at the end of last week, and in fact accused me of talking down. Well, not indirectly, he accused me of talking down to people, and it's like, but sometimes I am. You know, when you work in an environment, as I say, where you've got to have a, you know, almost like a signed certificate from God to go for a piss. Why would you not realise when it says you need a senior manager to approve the change, that just because he's got the word senior in his title doesn't mean he can approve his own? What the fuck? So, but I daren't say anything because, and apparently my co-worker can't say anything either because apparently he's said too much as well recently. Because I accused them last week of not paying attention to detail, and I got told off that they do. It's like, well, the man who said he only needs commands to know how to do something is the guy who's been given the commands and has written them down and still can't do it on his own. So, well, that's clearly not true. And you know, the things they've been told they didn't write down. I am not the official holder of the rules and regulations for a particular process, so it's not really mine to document. Apparently my ear thing says low battery, which is a bit worrying. Oh, it's because I haven't plugged it back in. Hang on. It's a bit odd, because it's been plugged in my thing, and my thing has got a full battery. So I don't know why it's got low battery. Let me get the other thing then. The other ear. Maybe it's got a better battery life. Maybe I just didn't plug it in enough. You know how it can be. Put it in the thing. So we'll have to see how that goes. Ooh, not very good at not hearing. Let me take the other one out, put it back in the box. Yeah, it goes in there. What the fuck? Yeah, that's what I heard. Let me just kill that for a second. Why did you just start? Why did waking an earphone up just start something on a web browser that wasn't even focused start playing? There we go. Let's try it. There we go. After all, don't want to get copy strike. Hello, Amy. I swear my computer's doing things without my... Because I had OBS back up to not paused or anything, and it disappeared off again. Thank you, darling. That was so ladylike of you. One of the things that my computers... I have a question for you all. For those of you who use Windows, which is, after all, generally the majority of us all, I didn't really have this problem so much with Windows 10, or even any of the former ones, to be honest. But it was not uncommon at work, at least, to see a random machine suddenly go, no, 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 I refuse to do that update. And as a techie, you'd go along and you'd poke it with a couple of sticks, and it was usually space or something that was blocking it. Well, the last two Alienware machines I've had, so this one and the one before it, both have done this. And bear in mind, my shitty laptop that cost me about £100 doesn't do this. It'll be fine, it'll do the updates, it'll do the updates. And then suddenly, these won't. These will not do the update. And, you know, you do all the standard repair-y things of scan this and to rename the other and done all of that, and it's still not doing it. And it's kind of like, I'm sorry, but I don't actually do anything that exciting with my PC. I don't tend to install a lot and remove a lot. I don't tend to do, you know, I'm not downloading weird shit off the internet. And yet, my machine now can't put the roll-up update on. Now it also says, because it's not in the event log, it says because it doesn't exist. Now not the update, something it's trying to update. If it doesn't exist, it's not a problem then, is it? Surely. But somehow the roll-up update is expecting something that I don't have. But it doesn't say what. I just wondered if anyone else has the same kinds of problems with Windows Update, and that randomly it'll just sit there going, well, actually it doesn't really tell you that it failed. It just kind of hasn't happened. So on my last machine, it got to a point where if I turned it on, it would go, ooh, rolling back the update because it failed. Fair enough. And then you'd bitch around, do what you were doing, and at the end it would go, trying to install an update. Okay, it's obviously having another go. And then next time you booted it up, ooh, rolling back the update. So I knew, clearly it was pissed. This one, apparently this one's been having problems for a couple of weeks, for about a month now, and hasn't actually mentioned to me that it couldn't install the update. It didn't put anything in as its sign of, you know, I'm unhappy, I need your attention. It didn't say, oh, I failed to do an update. It's failing to do even the early part of the install, let alone the post reboot kind of fiddle. And it's kind of like, well, if you're not going to tell me, I can't come along and fix it. But I've come along to do all of the obvious things. The only other choice now is to reinstall bloody Windows. I'm really not in the mood for that. With all due respect, not in the mood for that. Especially as I've not really done anything. I've got no hardware failures. I've got plenty of space. I've, you know, all of these kind of things. So I'm sorry, but you need, you know, other than error, fuck it, you need to give me a bit more excuse as to why you didn't do it. Because the event log said it couldn't find something, but couldn't find it to update it is surely then skip it and go to the next bit. So yeah, stupid piece of shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I know I'm supposed to be having a CT scan soon, because I got a phone call from the people, I think I told you guys a little while ago, saying you've missed an appointment, we'll rebook it. And I went, yeah, can you mail me? Oh, that's a good idea, but I'll ring you back when they've booked it. And I haven't heard anything, so I rung them up today, got around to doing that. Haven't heard back, of course, but I did at least phone them to say I thought you guys were supposed to be booking me a CT scan. And in fact, on their little kind of answer phone thingy, because it's very common over here, ring this number, except all it will do is take you straight to an answer phone. And on the answer phone it says, if you're calling about this, call this number. If you're calling about this, call this number. And you're like, okay. But it does say if you're expecting your yearly checkup, call this number, except for that is for the Hubble telescope. And as you know, I do the Hubble telescope. And it does say if you're waiting for your CT results, well, that's great, but you didn't give me a chance to book that. So, and apparently they are running very late with the results, so I am forewarned for that. In that apparently it takes at least 4 weeks now for them to get their CT results, which is a bit odd considering they'll know by the time I leave the room what the results are. That was always one of the things that used to annoy me about blood tests. When you go for a blood test, they drop it in a little bucket, almost, well, depending on where you are. But when I used to go for my cancer checkups, they used to take you into a room the size almost of a public toilet, and they actually, I will put you on there for now. And they steal your blood and literally turn around and drop it in, almost literally drop it in this kind of plastic bin. But it's not a plastic bin, it's your blood counter. And it literally would sit there going nom 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 nom. You could hear it, chomp 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 chomp. And it would be printing out your results by the time you'd kind of put your jumper back on and were leaving the room. So you knew they had them, but you then had to wait 2+ hours or more in the waiting room for nothing. And then the doctor would be, right, well, you just had your results. Well, no, you probably had them a good while ago, actually, but, you know, let's not split hairs. Because you knew for well, you could see it printing out, and if you were really lucky and you were quick, you could sometimes read it. So, and there was an awful lot of you that kind of wanted to read it and go, well, if as long as it's alright, I'm pizzing off, then I won't stick around, you know. Because I'm just taking up time. And it always struck me as daft in a way that they didn't do that. That they didn't look and see what the machine found and said, right, your blood count's normal, bye. Don't bother to wait around, there's nothing to tell you. Only if you had some problem should you stick around, kind of thing. So yeah, one of the things that is very apparent when you sit in an NHS waiting room, especially at the hospital, is there are 20-30 people rushing around like blue-ass flies. They don't actually seem to be getting any work done. Oh, this has got to go to so-and-so. So they call a porter to come and pick it up to take it to so-and-so. And it doesn't have to be a person, by the way. You know, it can be a pile of shit on a trolley kind of thing, right? But they then, you know, they then go into a meeting room. They then go into, you know, they then go into the kitchen, grab a drink or wash something, and then come back, and you know, they then have to go and they then go and pick up something else, and then they read it, and then they go and do something else. But it doesn't seem like anyone's actually sat there and looked at how inefficient so much of this stuff going on is. Because, you know, inevitably, you know, by kind of like 8:30 in the morning, they're already a couple of hours late and they only started at 8 o'clock. How can you be a couple of hours late by the time you've, you know, pretty much opened your doors? And the answer is because, well, only so-and-so's got permission to read that, but so-and-so's doing this at the moment, so it'll have to wait. Then when so-and-so's finished, they've got 20 other things that they've got to look at, and, well, then they get called into something else, so maybe they didn't get around to looking at that one yet, so now you have to wait even longer. And I had this when I had my perforated bowel. I asked the nurse, so can you tell me actually what's wrong? No, I can't read that bit. Okay, well, can you find someone who can? Well, no. What do you mean, no? She didn't have access to that bit. And it's kind of like, well... And then she got really moody because patients were asking her questions like, you know, how long will I be in for? Or when's the next this? Or... And she's like, I don't know. I can't see that. You guys, I have a job to do. And I actually had to explain to her, we appreciate that you have much to do, but you also need to appreciate that we don't. We have literally nothing to do. And we do not know, most of us do not know actually what's wrong with us, how long we're going to be here, why we're on bags of whatever the hell this is, or even what it is. And when we ask you, we get a mouthful. And she was really offended, and it's kind of like, but it, you know, your job is to, you know, to tend to the patient, and a part of that is to listen to their concerns. And dog, what the hell is wrong with you? What? What? You've had Huggies. You have. You have had Huggies. And you've had dinner. What? What is the matter? You're just being annoying, little one. Ah. So you're going to go away again now. Straight into a drink. But, you know, it was, you know, my perforated bowel thing. The temperatures were astronomical. But, of course, we didn't get to leave our beds because we were too ill. We didn't get to open the window. We didn't get to, you know, all we got was whatever came in the room to us. And most of the time, nothing. And it is frustrating when, you know, I of all people appreciate that nurses have jobs to do. Absolutely. But they've also got to understand that when you do not, you know, when the TV is bust, because, and it turns out the TV wasn't bust, by the way. They were telling everyone the TV was bust, but it wasn't. There was just no remote control for it, which doesn't make the TV bust. And don't get me wrong, you know, maybe as patients we couldn't agree on something to watch, but it was kind of like, but you've deprived us of any form of input. We are sitting here on a sweaty hot day. You know, the doctors haven't told us what's wrong with us. You haven't told us what's wrong with us. And yet you're feeding us full of something for some reason. Do you want to share what that is? Oh, well, we've had a death of COVID. We can't be dealing with this. And I went, and I'm very sorry he's died. But he's dead now. We're still, hopefully, alive. Yeah. She was... They can be a bit weird. I know when I had leukemia, one of the things that I worked out very quickly was that the doctors will say to you things like, oh, it doesn't hurt. Well, they've never had it done. How do you know? How many of these have you had? because obviously they want to downplay that it hurts. Well, I get that, but don't tell us it doesn't hurt, for Christ's sake, because that just makes you out to be a liar, you know. But doctors, of course, go home to their warm beds, their families, their pets, their favourite TV shows. You know, they get to go out, they get to go and do things in their spare time. Patients do not. And they come along the next morning and they're all kind of like, you know, so you can hear them outside talking to the nurse. So how was Miss Kimber overnight? And you'd be like, oh, she spent the night thrown up. Oh, okay. They'd walk in and go, did you sleep well? And you look at them with that. Were you listening to what they just said? In what universe is someone who spent the whole night chundering going to say, I slept well? They then asked you stock questions, to which you pretty much gave them the same answers every day. And it's one of the questions they asked you in order: are you constipated? Do you have diarrhea? But if you said yes to constipated, they'd still ask if you had diarrhea. Now, diarrhea actually is a form of constipation, but that's a whole new story, or often is. You know, exactly right. And I do remember, most of the reason you have diarrhea is because something's stuck and your body's trying to flush it out. But, not always. You can have irritated bowel and stuff, but it was just that kind of, did you... Yeah, I have always been an infrequent pooper. Until the last few years, actually. So a month was quite normal. Like, once a month was normal. And so it was always amusing because, well, I don't know. I kind of... Like you, it'd be much better to just kind of go, did you? No. But they did try to help me poop. They fed me full of fibre and, you know, rancid, piss horrible coloured things to try and make me poop. Nothing made me poop. Absolutely none of it made me poop. Absolutely none of it. They gave up in the end. Didn't happen. They just accepted that it wasn't happening. But yeah, it was just one of those things, is, you know, are you constipated? Yes. Have you got diarrhea? And you look at them with that. Were you listening? Did you not hear the words I just said? A friend of mine in hospital, her name was Karen. Karen rather famously had cornflakeitis. Oh, no. They fucking almost pressed the rig bed button like she was dying. Because, you know, they came along, looked in her throat, and there were little flecks. It was bits of cornflake. But they reacted like it was, you know, the bubonic plague or something. And it was kind of like, they didn't ask her, what did you have for breakfast? Because literally she was kind of eating it as they came in. And it was kind of like, which was a great source of amusement for all of us, because she had cornflakeitis. But they were literally going to kind of like call the cavalry, because, you know, infectious diseases and all that. And it's like, no. She's been a good girl. She's been sitting in her bedroom like she was told, you know. Oops, I forgot to do the thing. That's the first one. Has to be said. Oop, that's not what I need to do either. One of the other things that was kind of real for us was that when we were in hospital, the food was very hit and miss. But we all, at some point, got ill from something. I had food poisoning a couple of times. Most of us at one point caught a chest infection off one of the doctors. Yeah, for example, our family couldn't visit because they think they might be getting a cold, but the doctor could turn up with a full-blown chest infection and share it amongst all of the patients with no immunity. So some of us got very, very sick with it. And, you know, there was no kind of repercussions for said doctor. It was also, you can't have a mobile phone on because it messes with the equipment. But all the doctors walked around with mobile phones off. Because of course it doesn't interfere with the equipment. Because it all has, you know, in the UK, if nothing else, all of your electronic equipment has to be up to a certain standard so that it does not interfere with equipment. I mean, back in the 90s, people knew they were getting mobile phone calls because the nearby PC speakers would go and then your phone would start ringing. So you knew you were getting a phone call before you were getting a phone call. But they don't do that anymore. In fact, back in the 90s, one of the other things you could get were like pocket clips that would flash when you were getting a phone call. They weren't Bluetooth to your phone because they didn't do Bluetooth. They picked up on the same that the speakers did and flashed as a result to tell you your phone was ringing. They were all the rage back in the 90s. I remember them. You've come on. Miserable piece of shit. Seems to be having a major run of bobbins coming off the dropping the threads and running away. Yeah, I've been very tired. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay, that's... Oh, you piece of shit. You back in here. That's 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Stop licking everything, you annoying bag of fur! I do love my dogs with all their soul. And mine. But they can half be annoying. I can hear you! Licking the fucking couch. Gross habit. So you're about to come on. A bit long, really. I've got an itch. Oh. yeah. Hospitals and doctors over here are a bit weird. They just are. Just a little weird. I think that's enough. Back out. Right. Let's do some of this. Let's push you to the side of this. So I'm going to start with yeah, I've got a horrible feeling that I probably missed another. So I probably missed another appointment, and they'll be really mad at me, and it'll be like, well, I phoned you and told you that you said you were going to ring me back and tell me when the appointment was, and you never did. Fuck off, Bobbin. It is. Well, it's always a day for me, I think. Always feels like it's being a day for me at the moment. Yes, I can hear it too. Don't know if you can hear it going whip, 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 whip. Oh, good God, that reminds me. We all know that there are short videos on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, basically anywhere you turn, right? And sometimes you view a few of these, you know, short videos and you're like, yeah, whatever. Not really interested. And then suddenly it turns into live streams. For no apparent reason, it's not somebody's, you know, hey, did you know kind of video. It's some live stream. And often it starts off with, usually for me, a bit of street cooking. Yeah, okay, next. There's these two emos who basically sit there going, woo-wee, 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 woo, at you. And they've got like a counter and a quota and everything. Because, needless to say, I get them out there as quick as I can. But I did catch them as he goes, oh, and we haven't got enough of our ewoos in. And they just sit there. And it's like, people watch this? I'm doing educational and impressive stuff here, and you're sitting there going, woo-wee, 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 woo, looking like, you know, it's a bunch of emos, and they've got more viewers than me. Damn. Well, you know, if you ever needed proof that the world was not fair, there you go, you know. Show me, it's, I wouldn't mind, but it's actually done it a couple of times now, like it thinks like I'm really into this, and it's like, I've said not interested at every opportunity. I'd report it, but it's not really a reportable thing, other than maybe their mental state, you know, maybe they need some help. But, you know, who are we to judge in this day and age? But it's not my bag. Please stop showing me this shit. I'm not interested. I do find it funny sometimes how a lot of these systems suddenly decide that you must be into something. Now, we've all done it. You go on Amazon, you click on something, and you type something, and it brings up totally the wrong thing. But you typed it. So, for example, I was looking, I think it was Friday, for some tatting thread, because currently I'm using crochet and lace thread, and well, I happen to know that there's this Vega thread that everybody, polyester Vega thread, that apparently is really all the rage for tatting, because it's strong, it's, you know, they come in lots of colours, you know, all of this kind of shit. Anyway, I did buy some which I hoped would be good, which was this stuff. It's not, it's far too thin. I mean, it's pretty strong shit, I'm not going to deny that. But, I mean, it'll probably be alright for lace making, maybe, but it's a bit shiny. But I might try it for lace making. After all, I've got a bit of it, after all. Do you have to think how many metres that is? Oh, 5 kilometres, there you go. So I might try that at some point for lace making. But I did try tatting with a bit of it on Friday, and it's what I've got here on this spool, actually. So let me show you what I mean. This is not going to be any particular work of art. So quite a lot of the things that I do say to make a 4x4 ring. So you have one. I'm trying to do it on the screen, but it's really, really hard to hold my hands that far away. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, made a bit of a peacoat. But as you can see, it's a bit small. So with that in mind, I mean, I'm sure it could have some advantages, but all of that is condensed down to this tiny ass little knot thing. So that was 4 stitches. So hence, it's a bit skinny for that, really. I think it would work well for lace making, though. It could do quite well for lace making. So we shall probably give it a go for that. Amy, I do not know what the fuck is wrong with you, but you're going to be a kebab in a minute, because you're being really annoying. Can I turn you into a doggy kebab and then slather you with chili sauce and then eat you? She's a bit confused because I just tried to eat her head. Are you confused now? Are you confused now? Can I chew your feet? Can I have a foot? Needs more chili sauce. Bit fairy. More chili sauce, less fur. She's a very confused individual at the moment. Welcome to Inside My Head. Little one. You're a good girl. I fed you. I love you. I have hugged you. Oh dear Lord God, no. I've got 2 of them. Ah, dear Lord, no. This one's a really... Right, I have 2 dogs, and Rory is needy, but he's like slow rolling lava, in that he will gently but slowly and very determinedly get his spot, and you will have no choice. This one is the face hugger from Aliens. This one, she's on the floor like the other side of the room. The next thing you know, she's wrapped round your face. I need to point out she's 20 kilos. So that's the best part of, what's that in poundage? It's 2.2. So she's got to be 44 pound. You do not have a 40 odd pound something dog wrap around your head without you noticing. But she seems to think that she does. But she's also... Oh, a squirrel! So she is my crackhead. And this is possibly the longest she has sat still. Almost in living history of 5 years odd now. Mm. Do you know that very shortly you will have been here in this very house 5 years? Mm. You and I will have known each other 5 years. Mm. She is very needy. He's needy, but in a much calmer manner. She's the dog that will headbutt you. Hey, Neck Kisser, how you doing? She likes to headbutt you and flap her ears in your face and whack you. Like, you know how like long girls with long hair can flick their hair and whack you in the face with it and be completely oblivious. She does that with her ears. She rattles her ears, even though she's only got normal doggy-sized ears. She's not a spaniel, but she can whack you with her ears like it doesn't happen, and it really does hurt. Because they flick you and it's ow, and she's like, "Oh, you whack me with your ears, you cow." She also headbutts me a lot. She's nearly knocked me out a couple of times. Made me bite my tongue. They regularly spill my drink, which is not a good plan. Yeah, these two are generally not so bad at the waking me up shit. They know better. On the other side, though, they are the omnipotently in the way dog. So as you trip over them, you step what should be 180 degrees, but they're still there. And you know, for every step you make trying not to fall over, they are under your foot and screaming about the fact that you're stamping on them. Or get the fuck out of my feet, then, comes to mind. Dogs also have a habit of, I don't want to eat your ear. I know I ate your head earlier, but excuse me, apparently I need to eat ears. I think actually she does get quite a bit of comfort because Rory suckles on her ears. So I think she does associate it with a kind of... Well, I constantly kick these two because they run in front of you and then stop and turn to look back at you. But of course, you were only ever an inch behind them, so now you booted them up the butt and they get really upset by it, as I'm sure your cat does. And it's like, well, don't stop then. This is a very long hug for you. Are you alright? You don't seem unhappy. You just seem needy. Little one. I don't like to boot you off when you... Oh no, I need to do a span bot. Off you go. Come on. Fucking span bot. Seriously, I swear it takes more for me to report the spam bot than it does for them to actually set up the spam bot account. What's the matter, little one? I know you're a good girl. You are. You can be. Yeah, the daily sacrifice has arrived. The spam bots will be forever in our favour. I get like one a day. Pretty much every time I stream, there will be one spam bot. I've never had two. I did have a couple of streams where I didn't get one, but only I think two. I was looking back over some guy, and he shall remain nameless, but you might work out who he is, has decided to basically tell Twitch and YouTube and everybody to quit giving him money, right? And he showed his earnings. Do you want to know the thing that it doesn't it annoys me in one way, but not. So bear with me. 2 years ago, he streamed something like 700 hours and got something like 52 grand or something out of Twitch. In the last year, excluding today, which has added another hour, I have streamed 929 hours. So I've now done 930 hours. And the comparison, I think I've had $250 in a year out of Twitch. And half of that was already there. It was just not over a threshold to be given to me. So a bunch of that was anyway. Where are my pictures? Because be in the pictures. Okay. There you go. So, for 614 hours, he got 14,385 subscriptions and earned $55,525.48. Holy shit, right? And I think that was actually a 2-year thing. Yeah, that was 2 years. That was 2017 to 2019. 2019 to 2021, he upped his streaming time, had nearly 289,000 subscriptions, and earned 1.2 million. But over the course of his entire time at Twitch, he showed that he had earned something like $35 million. I mean, and they wonder why these people can afford to be full-time streamers. So I was annoyed, not because I haven't earned that kind of money, because that was not it. But I was annoyed that he'd gone from 2 years of only having like an hour, the equivalent of like an hour a day, but he'd still managed to get 14,000 subscriptions in that time, and so earn an absolute shitload of money. And it was kind of like, that just doesn't happen. The reason I'm annoyed is that does not happen for crafters. And it's not that I'm mad for me, I'm mad in general, because there are no crafters who will earn that kind of money doing streaming. And it's kind of sad, really. I mean, hell, they'll all watch everyone play Mega Bonk for, or whatever. But at the same time, there is a bit of you that kind of sits there going, for people like me who are doing, I won't call it skilled labour, but for want of a better word, I don't really think of it as skilled labour, but you know what I mean. We're doing some form of skill. It is something that not all of you have necessarily... Now, I'm a shit games player, let's truly be honest. But the games market, of course, is also highly saturated with people trying to be streamers. But of course, there are an awful lot of people who will watch it. And I do think that reaching an audience is a difficult thing to do as a crafter, because Twitch is possibly one of the better known for live streaming platforms, and I would, if my internet wasn't so dog shit, stream to YouTube as well, but I can't, so I don't. My dog crap internet just couldn't handle it. God forbid the day I get a decent internet, I happily will. I will happily stream to both YouTube and Twitch. Because, well, that makes some sense. You know, hedge your bets a bit. Then I won't need to upload both because it will already be on YouTube. Save me a bit of shit. Plus, potentially find me 3 more weirdos to come and watch me watch it. You're all weirdos, by the way. Because I know you come for the conversation, and vaguely interested, but it's more for the weird conversations like we're having. But it is one of those kind of weird things is that you sit there going, I can never achieve that. And I think that's what annoys me, is that it's not down to whether I'm crap or not. It's not down to anything like that. You know, I mean, if you look at quite a few of the famously rich from doing streaming and all the rest of it, you sometimes wonder how they got there. I mean, Mr. Beast in his earlier days was quite a good artist, but towards the end he didn't do any of the art, and it's kind of like all it is was almost flexing of, I'm going to give away, you know, a house in Beverly Hills, or insert some random expensive shit, 3 Lamborghinis or something, but it inevitably went to his friends. And that was the bit that really put me off stuff like that, was that now I don't mind if they're a bit weird. You can be weird. Hello, I'm weird, so, you know, really can't cast too many stones in that pond. So I used to watch people like Jeffree Star. Briefly, I can't say I was an avid fan, but I used to occasionally watch it because it was interesting. And, you know, some of the things that he did were interesting. But some of the things he did weren't. Take care, Fusen V. But, at the same time, watching him smoke dope on stream really didn't seem a necessary part of it. Especially as, technically over here, while not illegal, it is kind of illegal to promote drug use. And I thought it was illegal to promote drug use on stream, but apparently not. Because you did it a lot. And there is a bit of you that kind of goes, I don't need to watch that. It's, you know, it's not interesting enough, so I stop watching. And it is, for me, it is a lot of that, is that an awful lot of these people who are insanely rich from doing this don't actually seem to be overly special. I'm not saying they're hideous, horrible people and they don't deserve to be recognised for the work that they've done. But they're not... It's like... You can find people on YouTube Shorts or whatever who are knowledgeable or talented, but they're not the ones up, you know, they're playing a song or, you know, playing a musical instrument. And they are not out there earning millions of pounds, dollars, whatever currency, from it. And there's almost a part of you kind of going, well, but the people who are earning millions of pounds, dollars, whatever, from it, aren't better than these people. And you have to feel sorry for them because, you know, they are worthy of being out there. They are worthy of being world renowned for it. And there they are in their mother's basement, you know, playing the guitar or whatever, right? And we all know the world is not fair, right? We started out with this one, the world is not fair, we know this. But at the same time, you know, when you're watching people like Mr. Beast who make an obsessive amount of money from doing streaming. That's right, my brain just had a brain fart then. And this keeps moving, which is annoying. And yet, he, you know, 90% of what he does seems to be just flexing that he's rich. Why are people watching that? Now, we all, I'm not saying we all watch, because I certainly don't, but, people watch things like the Kardashians. And part of the reason they watch the Kardashians is because it's a bit car crash TV, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is not because they think they can be the Kardashians. Not that, maybe they might want to be, but, that's that, you need the money to have the plastic surgery before you can even remotely come close to that. But it is to kind of, like, really, is that what, do they really believe that kind of TV it is, the car crash TV, right? And it is difficult, I think, to watch some of it and not have a bit of a cynical view. But people do watch things like the Kardashians in their droves. And the problem is it encourages people to believe that they can do that too. And, the number of people who leave school today who want to be an influencer, who want to be, and it's kind of like, it's a bit like, I want to be an actor. There's some, it was some ridiculous statistic that sort of like 95% of actors are currently unemployed. Because, they all want to have the big paying jobs, and they might take whatever small part that they can get, but the truth of the matter is that there's just not enough jobs to go around in that market. Therefore, in the meantime, there'll be waiting tables, tending bar, and all the rest of it. With that in mind, I feel that the influencer market is somewhat overpopulated. And as a result, to make it in the influencer market, you do need to be something special, something I'm definitely not. And you need to have, yet another makeup dude. Unless you're makeup dude to someone famous, people aren't really going to watch. You've almost got to be famous before you can be famous, if you know what I mean. In that a bit like the Tara Parham Tompkinsons of this world, and what was the other one? Thingy Paris and all of Paris Hilton, that's the one. All of these people who are famous before they're famous. So, their family are famous, and then pretty much the moment they do anything, they're famous because they did it, right? So they're on the cover of magazines because daughter of so-and-so, but no one actually gave a crap. But now she's on everything. They end up on TV because, well, she's famous and people are reading about her. So now they, all of those kind of moments. And she's not actually famous for anything other than the fact that she's famous, kind of thing, right? And there are a whole bunch of them. And I do feel for people because it's hard not to see people like that and go, well, you're not special, so surely I can do that. And the answer is no, you need to be famous before you can be famous. It's a bit like, once you're rich and famous, people give you expensive shit, but you're now in the category where you can afford to buy it. The only people who get free Ferraris are the people who could have afforded to buy one. Exceptionally unlikely that my phone will ring right now and say, Miss Kimber, you've won a Ferrari. It's not going to happen. But if you're rich and famous, can you be seen with our product, please? We'll give you some. It doesn't matter who, Here's Louis Vuitton shit. Here is, here's a Ferrari. Here's a Lamborghini. Here's a Mercedes. Here's a. You now can't move for cars and shit because, of course, you say yes to it all, but you could have afforded to buy it. It always made me wonder how the really top highfalutin cars ever made any money, because they seem to give them away to all the people who could have afforded them, and then the people who can't afford them don't buy them because they can't afford them. So who actually is buying this shit? You know, when they do some red carpet event, you know, oh, she's going to be wearing so and so. Is she? Whatever. It's a dress, right? She won't have paid for that. They'd have given it to us so they can be seen wearing the work, and then they're famous for having provided the dress for so and so. And I'm not saying that they weren't famous beforehand, because chances are if she hadn't heard of you, she wouldn't have agreed to it. But, you know, all of that in hand, it is that kind of aspect, is the celebrities and the rich tend to get given shit because they're rich and famous, and yet they're the few people who could afford to buy it in the first place. But yeah, this bloke has, in about 5 years, has earned 35 million, and that's just from Twitch fees, not from YouTube, not from streamer bot donations, merchandise, or anything else. Just off Twitch. And it makes me sad that people can make that kind of money and other people can't. And again, it's not for me specifically, because I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this purely because I can, right? Which is why, although I'm slightly annoyed at myself for not having streamed over the weekend, whatever. I wasn't well enough, so I wasn't well enough. Sorry, I thought I'd lost a mini stick then. I found it. But there are lots of people out there who are perfectly good streamers. They don't see that kind of money. Are they any worse? No. Are they better? Sometimes. There's a guy who occasionally comes in this stream. Keeps quiet, but there's a guy who occasionally comes in this stream who very recently decided to start streaming. And I'm not talking of you, EP, if you're not lurking. But he got a bit of a boost from a more popular streamer. As a result, he's already made a partner. Or he's certainly got in a position where he could apply for it. Which is something many crafting streamers struggle to do. But he got it kind of in the first couple of months. He gets quite a high viewer count. Because the people who watched the other guy will watch him. Because, you know, it's his friend. As a result, he's not had to do the sat here for hours talking to nobody thing. Right? And it kind of... It's almost like, you know, if someone like Asmongold shouts you out, chances are you'll be set. Because loads of people will come along and, you know, throw a load of money at you, and you sit there going, wow. I mean, I remember when Darth Microtransactions came in and dropped 10 gift subs on us. I was absolutely floored. It was really nice of him. And, you know, loads of people did come and have a look. I think we had about 100 people come and have a look. Scared the crap out of me. Now, admittedly, they're gaming people, so this is not really their bag. But, you know, it was really nice. And I think it would be nicer if more big streamers did help out the little dudes. Um, so instead of picking on some big bud of theirs at the end of their stream to raid someone who's small. Raid someone who absolutely needs it. No, they may be shit. Raid someone who's small. Find out, you know. Because let's face it, even if 100 people left your stream and went to theirs because they thought it was better than yours, you've got spares, right? You're not going to really feel the difference. But that little guy will. That, you know, you've just like 10 times his viewing count. I mean, I did one of the things that was recommended to me, which was join the makers and creators thing for Twitch. To be honest, it hasn't helped me in the slightest. I don't even think they know I exist. I mean, I'm encouraged to do things like, oh, we're going to do like a telethon thing, you know, where we're going to do a 24-hour stream where we're going to split between various streamers. Sign up and be one of them, and that would probably help. But most of the time there's only a handful of spots available for, you know, in EU times, and if you're not quick enough off the bat, you missed it. No, that's not right. Yes, it is. Over and over and you're done. Over, done. A bit of a flappiness going on. Over. You just fucking undid again, you miserable bobbin. Bad bobbin. Naughty bobbin. You're going to do it again. What is wrong with you? I did the same knot on all of them, and some of them just don't want to stay done up. No, I don't need doggy help. Apparently I need dog help. Hello. And, what? Yes. Have you got something on your nose? Hmm. What? Oh, little one. Hmm. Oh, what a yawn. Big doggity yawn. No. Oh dear, am I keeping you up? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I keeping you up? Are you sleepy? Well, go and sleep then. You know that there's good places to sleep. You do. I know you do. Yes, you do. Because you know my bed's free. You know there's a dog bed in the hallway. You don't want the bright lights. That's 2 spots at least. Then there's the umpteen dog beds and the couch in here. Oh, another yawn. Oh, dearie, dearie me, little one. Did you have a hard day's work? Did you? Did you work hard today? Did you? Did you whine at the things? You did. I know you did. I was here, little one. Oh, enough. Oh, enough. And you've distracted me from what I was doing. Grab a pin. Definitely need to make you longer though. You're far too short. It's a hard life being a dog. You're trying to come off, I can see that. Now I'll place you over here like this, because we don't need you just yet. What do you need to do? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sticks off you. Sticks down there. I do love that I found these little sticks, and the fact that they're made by the same people who made my big sticks, of course, because, you know, they're identical. It's quite cool, and I didn't pay a ridiculous amount of money for them either, which is quite nice. obviously bought them, and I either thought they were going to be a lot bigger, or just found that they weren't using them and got rid of them on eBay. And I went, yes please, I will buy all of your spares, because she had 8, and 8 works out just to be perfect for doing this. I mean, as you can tell, they could hold 2 or 3 pairs, to be fair, of these bobbins anyway. They do have a bit more limited a set of uses, that's for sure. But I think of them a little like cable needles. Don't need that yet. Need to do this next. So, somewhere in here. So what I didn't get around to showing you actually was that on Friday I managed to do a bit of my tatting. Oh, you piss awful thing, just stay done up. And I am trying to take one of these and join it with friends, but not this one, as you can tell, because this is my how does it fit together square. Grab my mess. I know I'm in the middle and I should probably finish what I'm doing before I show you this, but squirrel brain here has kicked off. So I have one square here. There is, it's a spare bit of thread because the thread broke. Now I need to work out, and part of the reason I have this one is, so for example, it would join here, and what I need to do is I need to remember to join both corners, because to start with you look at it and think they don't line up, because obviously you're forming a circle here with the white ones. But got to remember to join this corner, so when I get here, got to remember to join the last white end. So when I do the next two, so obviously I'm about to do them, but the next two ends, the last one of those has to go on there, so that it, because obviously this bends round like this, like that sort of thing. It's the last corner I've got to join to that. Otherwise, it'll not be joining. This is only a small experiment. I am not making anything particular with it, but I am trying to get to grips with the whole shuttle thing. And as you can see, I am doing better. They're much more uniform now. I have actually changed the numbers. So originally, on this one, you did 4 picot, 4 picot, 4. So you only did 3 parts. And then you did 6 on the way up to the white thing. And then you did 6 to a picot. And then 4. And then another picot. And then 6. Which gave them this like long loopy kind of thing. Whereas I've tried to make them the same for the blue as they will be for there, so they're more equal, and that these joiny bits are a little bit more, well, holding the bits in the middle together. So the idea will be is that these ones, obviously these are the original ones, which is why these don't count, but they should be rounder, so they should be more like the blue ones. So that way when they all join together, they will make 2 rings with a wiggly thing in between them. It's a shame that can't be a different colour, and it probably can, but I haven't got that far. What can I smell? It smells to me nice, but I can't quite put my finger on it. So it's not like a burning, horrible smell. It is a nice smell, but I can't put my finger on it. It's kind of flowery, but not flowery. I assume it's my F thing and the hole's gone off, and for once maybe it's a bit low and I need to refill it. And it's just managed to squirt its final squirt, for want of a better word. But that's what I'm doing, playing around with that. But the bit that really, as I say, the bit that really did puzzle me is that the girl in the video showing how to make these, which is not hard by the way, when she pulls it tight, I mean, she's pulling on it, the thread is creaking away, and it jerks through because it's so kind of over tensioned. But that means it will all be really, 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 really stiff. I mean, these aren't exactly, you know, floppy here, you know, but they're not, I mean, they're quite stiff, but they're not really stiff. Her ones, I think, are almost far more jewellery-fied in that they're almost like metal, in kind of how solid they are, which, you know, has its place in making jewellery. I did watch one on how to do a very pretty, should you be into them, necklaces, where you had like a little pearl bead in the middle and then like a load of kind of overlapping rings and then some bigger rings on the outside, but all with beads in between them, and that did look very pretty. I wouldn't wear it, but it did look very pretty. She was playing around with some metallic thread, so that did kind of lead me to a website where I can buy tatting thread. So I have put in a small order for that because, well, give it a go, make something, you know, try and make something of interest, not just randomness. course, it could also be used for lace making. It's just not cotton, and there's no reason why you have to make lace out of cotton. And it's traditionally made out of cotton or silk, so you know, it would be polyester, which makes it a bit shinier, which can have purpose, depending on what you're making, you know. And I've already got some beads I could use, so, which I bought for lace making and then never got around to doing. So. Again, just because I'm not exactly a lace person, you don't make bookmarks with beads on, because, well, it's going to be a shit bookmark if you do. So, like everything, you kind of have to find the right thing. But I did buy some beads, and it is kind of the right size for the tatting thing too. So, I've got a couple of colours of beads I can use, which is always a bonus. Should I wish to give that a go? This is of course why you have a rose, because it's really difficult to pick up the thread from knot, because it mates with all of its thread. And we're at the bottom. So I appreciate that this has taken a really freaking long time, so nearly 2 hours, and all we've done is the motif at the bottom. But, well, I tried, people. I tried. We all know there are good days and bad days, and there's no reason why this has taken me 2 hours, but for some reason it has, so bite me. But I'm going to call it a day. Put that over there. We're going to review what we've done, and if we fucked it up, well, that's probably going to have to be tomorrow, Liz's problem, because I'm kind of let's have a quick look. Nothing is leaping out and screaming at me. Always a good sign. So, as I say, slightly sad that this is all we've managed to do. But one thing I can do is update this. Not that. This one. So we're on 3. So yes, Out the back here we are beginning to see the lace. You can't quite see it. Let me move this down a little bit. So you can see a little bit of lace poking out the top now. So this is our starter inch for throwing out at the back with our mistake in it, just over here. But again, it shouldn't really matter because it's at the top. So, but there we go. As I say, I do apologise that I wasn't around much for the weekend. I was proper unwell, and I do apologise for not doing more. I know it's only 9:20 now. There's still plenty of day left, but the bright light is beginning to get to me quite a bit. So it has been nearly 2 hours. So hopefully you will forgive me. Thank you for coming. I will not throw you at anybody. I shall leave you to pick your own destiny if you wish to go to a different streamer, because no one I know is streaming. So as I said, thank you very much for coming, and I apologise that I have not really been myself the last few days, but as always, drop by our Discord if you want to chat, because I can always text to speech. Oh, hi Sugar Bear. I can always text to speech Discord, which is a bit of a bonus. So I can shout at it and then it can type at you. It may type utter shit at you, of course, and that can be a thing with text to speech after all. But I do thank you for coming, and poor Sugar Bear. We made a motif. Look, took me 2 hours. That's how bad I am at the moment. It's taken 2 hours to do basically that and not a lot else. So yeah, but we should be back hopefully tomorrow. Pray for my sanity. As I say, pray for my sanity, because I'm losing it real bad here, which probably doesn't help with the migraine, to be honest. Idiots and stress, but Saturday was really quite horrible, and body is recovering. I mean, you know, as you can see, I've tolerated this for 2 hours, and I've done a day's work, so you know, I'm not doing too bad, but my batteries are very low, and well, I'm kind of due for a nap, really. So I shall try and see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.